Good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with the 65th episode of Cultist Simulator playing the Dancer DLC. As always, we're at the start of a new week. I hope you've all enjoyed your weekend, and we're going to take a look at the state of the board before we make any big commitments. We're currently under investigation now. I don't think there's really any hope here for me to avoid this notoriety, and then I believe we're actually already starting... No, we're not. So we're actually looking at the Port Noon anecdotes. So yeah, I mean... There is a very slight chance that I could extend the mystique to a point where I don't need to worry about the investigation, but I think at this point we'll probably just take our lumps and move on. One of my bigger questions right now is how do I deal with the Callagine and the Percussagant? We know we're going to have probably about 20 seconds of lost time. I think what I'll do here, maybe I'll sacrifice another 10 seconds on their lifetimes and hand in the Moth Commission. That'll give me another mystique that I can play around with. But, yeah, the question would be, do I want to try and build up a number of Port Noon anecdotes so that we can sort of take a number of, expeditions there, like, right away? Or am I in a spot now where maybe I want to, just take advantage of what I have available? The reason why I'm a little uncertain about where I want to go is, if you haven't gotten to Port Noon, there is an item that we can get which will be very helpful with regards to freeing up the talk for the things that I want to do for the most part. So there's a small argument for me to kind of go deeper through, through the evening. I think it's called the Evening Isles. Yeah, and then the catch is that that's going to be occupying the study verb at a time when I would obviously want to be translating works and otherwise taking care of my affairs. Anyways, we'll leave that aside for now. I don't need to spend too much time thinking about that. Dream slot's open. We don't have any mirrors to work with, so I'll leave that be. Got a season of visions coming up, so I want to mind my manners as far as any books that I'm reading. And we've got time at the Gaiety. Now, we have one staleness to get rid of, so it may not be a bad time for me to... No, you know what? No, let's do the Lantern Commission. I was thinking maybe I could throw the... throw some reputation in on a painting, but probably better I just continue as if things were normal. So let's clear out the actions that we were taking to begin with, and then we'll maybe we'll think a bit about what our next few steps are. Alright, I've prepared the text for study. So this is the Song of the Carapace Cross, and as I mentioned, the question is how much, so what do I want to be spending my time on for the study verb? We have two more texts to translate, the Sevenfold Slaying of the Seven Coiled, and then the Voyages of Fernishin of Oriel. This one might be a higher priority for me to read just because it may give me a... it looks like it'll give me Secret Histories lore, so if I can wind up with a Port Noon anecdote out of that, so much the better. And then the question would be, well, if I want to combine a couple of my Vagabond's maps, I'm going to need an Erudition, a Glimmering, and I've already got my library. Now, it may be that I get the Erudition and the Glimmering by handing in the Moth and the Lantern Commission already. So you know what, let's actually go and translate this work to begin with. So the Voyages of Fernishin of Oriel, the impossible travels of a sea captain of the late Phoenician era, suppressed throughout recorded history. Those who read it were said to disappear. So we'll translate here. Lock the study door, the work begins. And of course, we do want to be moving along my ambition of change. We do have a dance we can perform in Maya, but I've been occupied with some other concerns lately, so... The mirror is repaired. It shines again as it did once before. Now, one thing I might want to be doing here... my first impulse is to immediately turn in the Moth Commission. As I sort of said, we want to try and preserve the Callagine and the Percussagant, And what that means is, if I'm going to be sacrificing 10 seconds or 20, as it turns out with the lantern and the moth, I kind of want to get that out of the way right away. Also, I'm delighted that this is, I think, 2 days since the most recent update, but there's a little bit of an improvement in terms of just sort of the shadow or the ghost of where the card will be landing. And the movement is a little bit like what the old system used to be, so I'm happy about that. One way or the other, though, let's take the Percussigant and the Callagine. Now, this does mean that I'm giving up turning in the commissions, but that is with a mind towards upgrading the Vagabond's map when the time comes. And so it means that because I've got my lantern and I've got my moth commissions that I'm going to be turning in, I should also probably have a chat with my I should be getting another commission while I can. Right now here, I just want to be preserving my summons. And let's take a shot through the Peacock Door. Now, unfortunately, I've forgotten if we were heading towards the Worm Museum or the Red Church. I feel like we were probably heading to the Worm Museum now, but there's a risk with that. So the Peacock's Door reflects the mirror I hold in my sleep, and the mirror reflects the Peacock's Door. Already a sensuous shiver ripples its surface. It aches for fracture, and when it finds that satisfaction, I will enter. One way or the other, we'll make it work. And we've got a Season of Sickness coming up, but the good news is we've got a Course of the Heart as well, so I don't need to worry about working on that. I just need to make sure I have the dream slot available when the time comes. So after the commission is done, I need to go back to the Gaiety, but following that, I may want to stop by the Ecdysis Club. Now that's going to generate a mystique one way or the other, so in this case I sort of wanted to... I guess I don't need to worry about completely getting rid of the mystique, but I kind of wanted the notoriety situation to resolve itself before I started doing some more reputation affecting tasks. I finished the manuscript. So let's go to the Gaiety. The stage awaits hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. So we'll earn our money there. I'm not too worried if I don't wind up with a special event. I could use the money, so you'll notice that our fairly large savings has sort of been dwindling. But that's also because the extra time that I've been spending hasn't necessarily been towards earning sort of mundane wealth. It's been towards gaining the Spintrea. So one way I could translate some of that into real world wealth is to occupy the explore verb with with trips to Oriflammes and sell off maybe at least the iron Spintrea. I'm not really sure I'd want to be giving up the bronze and the silver. But in this case, I don't actually really feel that big of a need. There are definitely other ways that we can make money, and we're not at a point where I can't do some of the actions that I want to perform. So I'm going to keep things the way they are right now, but I may want to be reconsidering a few of my steps in the future. Also, one thing I'm going to want to take a look at is to see whether or not evidence pops out, because I may want to use my Percussigant and the explore verb to find, to find followers and just otherwise keep them around. So this place merits closer investigation. The Wreck of the Cristobal. Okay, moving on. We'll leave the explore verb open for now. Well, I mean, I suppose now would be the good time for me to go to Oriflammes if I don't have anything else to do. But it's only 14 seconds for the Percussigant, so let's just leave it now that I think of it. Prepared the text for study. A travelogue of sorts. Alright, so we are going to read this just to see if we can get an anecdote out of it. Furnisham clearly visited the Mansus, sailing the length of the painted river. He also claims to have traversed the sea of finest sand, to have dared the blazing waves at the sun's surface, and to have descended to an underworld ocean lit by lamps of black nephrite. Mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I am sane if that means anything. Okay, so we are going to check out the Worm Museum. Again, this is a little bit of a risk because I don't necessarily know if this pattern that I've been doing... First of all, I don't know if the pattern is correct, but second of all, I don't know if we're on the Worm Museum side of the equation. But I still think we can handle it if it turns out to to be otherwise. So, all right, we wound up with a perfect frost. Last night I visited the War Museum. I like the sort of the zoom effect that they've added, by the way. Last night I visited the War Museum, which is both within the mansis for security and without for safety. The hours have charged the colonel with its defense, and even the lionsmith does not challenge him here. Winter is the chiefest aspect of this place. The worms thrive where things end, but they must also be ended, and they must if the mansis is to endure. This morning, the chilly certainty of the colonel's hand still lies on my shoulder. In perfect frost, the world is as still as ice. Each movement is a journey. So, gonna have to be doing some more repairs. I will add the Callagine to the talk verb first, and we'll chat with the percussivant. So this gives me the option of destroying the evidence if I need to. And at some point, we might get rid of the perfect frost through bringing one of the hangers-on into the cult. Alternatively, I subvert it into some kind of a heart influence. Now, we've got a season of ambitions coming up, so I'm going to want to either paint that away or use it in a dance. Painting it may not necessarily be that bad of an idea, although it does carry with it the risk, because it's going to be a passion-based painting, that it may draw down my funds even further. But for now, we're going to be in a little bit of a holding pattern for the dream and the explore verb while we just resolve some of the issues down here. Well, dream slot, actually, we can use the vitality, so a little bit less of a quote-unquote waste. But okay, so no special event. It does mean, though, that we get to run with it a little bit faster. So we also got a Course of the Heart, so we've got yet another Vitality if we need it. So I don't have a commission to do. We're going to be turning those in rather than getting any new ones. So I kind of come back to the same problem. Do I want to dance? Do I want to paint? Do I want to do something else? Let's go to the Ecdysis Club. Great work. The final fulfillment of a desire is often a conclusion. It is not enough to hope. I stand or fall on my deeds. All right. Just trying to think if there's any influence I can run with here. Not enough. Well, that gives me something to do with the perfect frost then. The other thing that I can start doing is going back through the stag door. In my dreams I know the path to... Nope, but I'm not going to do that until the sickness is done. So, let's go back to the gaiety. The stage awaits hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. Considering the evidence, if a hunter has found notoriety, they will try to use it to create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they'll always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail, but they can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety. So we'll have to turn over again with the percussivant and the Callagine. Fenishin's final voyage is to retirement on a peaceful island across the evening sea. Looking good, where he identifies a spring whose waters will keep him safe. I will be forgotten, he declares, and this work my only trace. There's the Port Noon anecdote. So this is one of the reasons why you want to be cautious in terms of playing around with Vagabond's maps and upgrades when you're reading certain books. So that's good news for us, because that will allow us to occupy the explore verb. And I want to use that right away, so... Port Noon is where the long go to enjoy the sea and the sun, to drink from the spring that makes them forgotten, and to stay out of trouble. Mostly out of trouble. The stories you can hear in the Hotel Ciervo are golden dude, quintuple distilled toasts to memory served straight up. Oops. Across the bright far sea, Port Noon lies. Exiles, monsters, and visionaries have long favored the waters around it. Perhaps we shouldn't get too close, but it might be useful to get close enough. There's the sickness. This illness has damaged my health. I will need to rest before I am fully recovered. Cure your affliction with funds or vitality. I'm going to want to figure out what I'm doing with the heart influence before too long, but I'll save that for another time. Okay, let's get... you know, I don't actually need to worry about my emotions quite as much. So let's read what we can while we have this this nice little reprieve. There's still a bit of translation to do, but Medusa's lament on the death of the hour called Seven Coils, the father of the mother. The first part of the poem describes the ambush of the Seven Coils by a warrior scarred all over by the traitor gods, scarred even unto his eyes, so that the sight of the great coils would not destroy him. I wonder who that's in reference to. Alright, old and happy far off things, so that's going to be 2 restlessness that we need to contend with. Now again, we may be able to take advantage of that in the case of dances and painting, but it sort of depends on basically just where we are in terms of the timers. But so far we've got Course of the Heart. My own heart pumps more strongly today, so that's overall positive. Season of Ardors, so that's going to give me contentment, and we're going to do the usual routine with the Callagine and the Percussagant. I'll keep the Callagine in the base so that if I need to switch out for the evidence, I get that option right away. I also need to remember what it takes to upgrade the Winter. Alright, there we go. I'm certain that my adversary has lodged a copy of their notes elsewhere, with their solicitor, with their superior, or even with a contact in the press. This is troubling. So, this is not as big of a worry as it would be in other circumstances. The only thing I'm a little worried about is what it's going to mean in terms of the survival of my summons, and of course we can resummon with the work verb as well. But we'll see. Again, it's always just a question in terms of seeing where we're at and seeing how long it's going to take to perform certain actions. At minimum, we've got 2 Port Noon locations that we can work with, and I'm pretty happy about that. All right, fewer opportunities to show our stuff at the Gaiety. For 12 seconds, I think we're gonna wait it out on old unhappy far off things. Although, I have a feeling we're going to get hit by the dread one way or the other. Maybe it would have been better to dance at the Gaiety now that I think of it. So, this is going to be a pure passion painting. You never know, this might be a living. Part of the appeal... Oh, I should remember that I have a few seconds on paintings. Same self, the door I will pass is never visible to either the waking eye or the eye that is closed. I must surrender those eyes to one who knows the way, so that I can see. I'm no further along my path of change. In the movements of the secret forms, I must find my lesson. So I need to find a way of dealing with that restlessness within 60 seconds. Might be able to take advantage of it, we'll see. And the colors of the night, I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. I'll leave that aside for now. And Season of Despair, so I am going to want to be careful with the restlessness. The battle rages on until the Seven Coils drowns in its own blood, at which point the narrative turns mystical and elusive. A titled goddess arises from the foam of its blood. She is an armored queen, a serpent daughter, a key, a healer, a murderess, an oracle, but her 7th title is not to be revealed. And I'm assuming, of course, this is the Mother of Ants that we're referring to. But okay, another Formula Ophidian. Now, this is going to be a little hard to deal with because I don't have the contentment immediately available to me. We will be getting the contentment... Maybe. Okay, we've got Raven Isle. Let's think about the next few steps. So, I want to deal with Dread within 57 seconds. What does it take to upgrade the Bitter Atmosphere? It's... Pounding Airs, which we wouldn't get, but I think if I go to... Yeah, so here's the real dilemma. I can go to the Stag Door to try and get a heart, but if I do that, I'm not going to be able to get rid of the Dread in time. So the better thing for me to do is neutralize the Dread that's currently threatening. Some days are better than others. Sometimes the sky is nothing like a filthy sheet. Sometimes the river runs clear. I remember that I was different before. Okay, so we've got the icy atmosphere. That's level 6. That's going to require a little bit less. It's still not enough for us. In this case, we would need the pulsing airs, which we could get through the stag door, but are a little bit less likely. And looks like we provoked both old, unhappy, far-off things and the course of the heart, so we have yet another restlessness to deal with. Exciting. I wonder if I'm going to be able to get by with skipping the gaiety one more time. No. I think that's the easy answer. I've created something both distinctive and beautiful. It will very likely enhance my reputation. Alright, so good news there. That's 2 funds. I wasn't expecting to get that. I've got a glimmering to work with, so if I can, I want to try and take advantage of that for the... I want to try and take advantage of that for the... for upgrading the Vagabond's map. I'm going to be sleeping a bit on the passion. And fascination. Okay, this actually, believe it or not, this helps me. Well, we also had the contentment, so it maybe doesn't help me as much. Oh, no, but we got 33 seconds before I can work with it, so we are going to get hit by the dread after all. That's going to make life a little harder then. Okay, well, let's go to the gaiety. The stage awaits, hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. So again, in theory, I could have tried another painting, but I don't want to mess too much with the... with the job. So I think I'm just going to have to wait. You notice I've been leaving the study verb open. I think I'm just going to have to wait on the icy atmosphere. I'd like to try and be a little more clever about it, but in this case, I think I'm just going to have to accept my fate. So my expectation is we should only be hit once by the dread. I think the other dread that we're going to generate I should be fine with. Right, the sun still moves, the wind still walks. My journals are the labyrinth clue. So that can help us with the fascination if we're... Okay, yep, we're in danger of that. So let's clear the fascination right away. And now we can work with the chilly radiance. And actually, I suppose we can run that out a little bit longer. So again, I am tying up my study verb by not doing anything, but I do actually kind of want to extend the life of this, so... And it occurred to me I can actually start sending the percussivant out on missions, so I should have been trying to get rid of this evidence a lot sooner. Alright, bad luck. But I do get to paint again, so I still have the staleness, unfortunately, so looks like we're waiting 14 seconds. Or are we? Yes, we'll be fine. Okay, so we do the painting. It's for passion again. Oops. Put the restlessness in. So this may give us a contentment, which would be good. And so you may wonder why I've been waiting so long on the chilly atmosphere. It's just because I want to see what happens with the composure. And so what I can basically do is the longer it takes me to be able to convert the chilly atmosphere into a hard influence, the more time I'm going to get to be able to go through the stag door and potentially to get a hard influence, which is worth a little bit more, which of course then I'll be able to use as an upgrade again. So if I'm early in trying to get the chilly atmosphere, it just means that I have less of an opportunity to try and get another component to put into my dance. And that's essentially why I've been working this way. It's one of the rare times where I actually think it's useful not to keep one of the plates spinning, but obviously I feel a little anxious every time I take that approach. Okay, we're still not paying for the paints. And coming up, another season of visions. So there is the risk that we're going to get fascination from doing another high passion painting, but I'm gonna live with what I've got. All right, subvert winter influence. Even in the snow, in the silence, in the white without colors, life will never quite cease. So you can see why I want to keep my time. My timer's a little tighter on this. The stag door is the adept's gate. To pass it is to be initiated into the first true mystery of the House of the Sun. The head Gearby weeps to see me enter where it cannot, but it must let me pass. The scarred valves of the door grind open. Okay. The moment of consequence. Now potencies and potentialities align. I really should have got that Callagine working on the evidence, so... I'm clearly not going to remember to trigger that when I need, so... Utter focus, all that I am is here. And there's the pulsing airs. So level 6 is not bad to begin with. I'm going to have to go to the Gaiety anyway, so... Oh, actually, that may have consequences. Because I don't have that long... well, I have 45 seconds on the Gaiety, so we'll see. I might have found someplace unusual. So we'll keep running there. Okay, 46 seconds. We've got a Course of the Heart. The Artist's Reward. My recent work has drawn some attention. Something should sell. So I think that overexposure means that I've lost that on the... Yep. And that's good, because obviously the Glimmering I haven't really been touching. Oh, and we did get a Contentment as well. All right. This is all great news. Now, I suspect the game is going to finally decide that I've earned a I've earned a chance to show my stuff, and that's going to hurt me with the pulsing airs. But let's see where it goes. So yeah, I need pulsing airs is the only thing that I'm going to be able to use out of this. There's a couple of cheap things I can do to try and extend this thing's life, and I may even do them because I'm a bad person. But all right, we've got an entry consultant, so we don't quite need one of those. I'll just leave that aside for now. All right, we've got another Course of the Heart. And another Season of Ambition, so I guess if the timing works out properly, we might be able to do a little something with that, but I'm a bit doubtful. Oh, I'm an idiot. I wanted to go through the white door, not the stag door. All right. Neither of these will help me, so let's go to the Ascent of Knives. The Ascent of Knives is called the Sharp Stair, and the Mother of Mirrors, and the Feast of the Grail. If one is to look beneath the stair, as I did in my last night in my dreams, one understands that last name. It draws a tithe of blood from the feet of those who ascend. In Pausai, some shaped like men, many shaped like women, wait beneath the glass of the stairs to satisfy their hunger. I did not approach. I made no sound. I only observed. It's difficult to control oneself. So I can't remember what this subverts into. Moth. All right. So I'm going to do the same trick, but I'm going to do it in the place I wanted to go, which was the white door. So I was trying to go to the Orchard of Lights, but I'm so used to going through the stag door for everything. Wait, word. Yep, we had the opportunity. Although we'd actually still be able to... We'd still be able to run by without it. My minion is returned. The evidence has been destroyed. I'm a little safer. felt all their eyes upon me. Afterwards I received a gift from an admirer. A little gaudy for my taste, but I can sell it on the second-hand market. Alright. So I guess I can see what I can do with the level 6. Alright. Work at the Cultist Club, New Heights. Tonight Sulachana herself comes to costume me in feathers. I never went higher than this, even in my old form, she admits. My route to the house was something different in the end. She squeezes my hip approvingly. This close, I can see her teeth, hooked like a serpent's. But I think you'll go all the way. Time, I think, to warn my sisters you're coming. Now get out there and impress. The manses is all well and good, but I still intend to get paid. All right, let's get reading some books. The manner in which the alchemist was spared in 1782, Verdier used this text as the basis for a presentation to the Academy of Sciences in Paris. He was executed in secret the following morning without trial. In the days of the Carapace Cross, when humanity lived in the dark and ate on its knees, humans could enter the mansis like vermin. One learnt the arts of flint, the arts of shaping and remaking. And actually, it just occurred to me we're already at the half-hour mark, so... to be continued. Sorry about that. I wasn't quite expecting... I got really wrapped up. So I suppose you will all have to wait an extra day for the follow-up to all of this. For those of you who've been paying close attention, you will notice that we've taken a different path on our dances, and we will see some of the consequences of that shortly. And then moving forward, probably what we're going to want to do is, depending on where we're at with our Vagabonds maps and being able to sort of build up our Port Noon anecdotes, I may just want to start sending my people out on the expedition. So, for instance, we can already go to Maya. There's really no reason not to do that. And then maybe we'll just sort of take that momentum and go to the Cristobal and Raven Isle. But we can all save that for some future expeditions. As always, thank you very much for watching. Tomorrow will not be... this should be the Monday episode, so tomorrow is Tuesday. Normally there isn't a Cultist Simulator episode, but I will see you all Wednesday. Please take care until then, and we'll see you. See you later. Bye.